All right, let's get our experts into the show now. Mr. Gavaskar, thanks so much for joining us this evening. First up, fair to say that Australia are all but out of this contest?
Well, yeah, I think you can say that they won't be able to win the match. They might be able to save the match, but I think it's going to be very, very tough for them to win the match because India has got nine wickets in hand. They've got a pretty good batting lineup. They've got two centurions, Virat Kohli and Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the centurions of the previous test, still to come into bat, and a man who got 80 in the previous test, Sachin Tendulkar also. So I'm pretty certain that they will add at least another 150, if not more, tomorrow, and which means a lead of almost 280. That's not going to be easy for the Australians to score over and ask India to bat again.
Right, Mr. Gavaskar, wanted to talk about the 294-run unbeaten stand, of course, between Pujara and Vijay. Now, the record for the highest second wicket partnership for India, the two gentlemen who hold that record are Mr. Sunil Gavaskar and Mr. Dilip Vengsarkar, 344 not out in 1978 versus West Indies. Now, since we have one of those two gentlemen with us, what's your take on this particular unbeaten stand that they put up?
I think it was a terrific partnership between the two. I like the way they gave the first session to the bowlers, and then they just held sway over the next two sessions. I think that's the way Test cricket is approached. I mean, there are different methods to score runs. They showed that they were quite prepared to wait in the first session when the ball was doing something. The bowlers were fresh, and then once they got the measure of the pitch, once they saw what the ball was doing, then they batted a lot more freely after lunch. And to score more than 300 runs in a day is a good scoring rate by any stretch of imagination.
Right, let's get you in on this one, Deano. I know, I'm guessing here that the tears must have dried up by now, say after 2 days of play. What's the one thing that stood out for you the most in this particular 294-run stand?
Well, you reap what you sow, and that's what we've got. Look, I just hope the Australian batsman, number one, just watches how these two young guys went about their job. They were very straight, very circumspect, very good in defence, very watchful in the first session, and then they let themselves go after that. Now, our guys, for some reason, the Australian batsmen, just seem to be looking to go hard at the ball too early in their innings, always finding the way, to try to hit the bowler off line and length instead of just being patient. I think it was one of the best learning episodes for Australian cricket to watch how you go about making runs in India. Number two, my father, God bless his soul, he said to me, always judge a pitch when two teams are bowled on it. Now, this pitch looked flat today, and the reason why it looked flat is our bowlers aren't good enough. Simple as that. The Indian bowlers know how to bowl on these pitches, know what lines and lengths, and they hunt in pairs, and they've done the right job. All credit to them. I'm just sad a little bit for the fans in Australia and the fans of India. I was just hoping they'll see a bit more of a fight. There's no fight today.
But Mr. Gavaskar, if I'm not wrong, Cheteshwar Pujara has converted 4 of his 550s into hundreds in Test cricket. He looks like he's just the man that Indian cricket was looking for after Rahul Dravid's retirement.
Yes, I think he's got a very good conversion rate. Obviously, nobody can fill in Rahul Dravid's boots, very big boots to fill. But Cheteshwar Pujara is begun on the right note. He's been very consistent. He's getting big hundreds, not happy with just getting to 100. And he is giving the Indian batting just that little substance which is needed, just that little solidity that is needed at the international level. He can play the new ball well, he can play the spinners well. So he's an all-round player, an all-round batsman. And that is what you need at number 3, somebody who will defend when the wickets are falling or when the ball is doing something, and then later on open his shoulders and score runs. So yes, he certainly is looking very, very good, and hopefully he keeps himself injury free so that he'll be around to serve Indian cricket for the next 10-15 years or so.
Right, all right. Now, the flip side of this, of course, of this partnership that the Indians have put on is, of course, the Aussie bowling. Deano, I know you're very disappointed with the way the Australians have bowled, but do you think the spinners were bowled a little too less? 36 out of the 93 overs that were bowled by the spinners. I know that they are not world class yet, Maxwell and Doherty, but do you think they were bowled less?
Well, the bottom line is the captain, and Sonny knows this better than most, when you sit at first slip and you watch the first couple of overs of a bowler bowling his first spell and he bowls 3 full tosses and 2 half trackers, you think, well, if I keep bowling these guys, we're going to be chasing a lot of leather. So he goes back to the quicks, then brings them back a little bit. the bottom line is that the spinners just haven't been good enough. We had to give them an opportunity. They just haven't. They had an opportunity here. They haven't bowled that well. Glenn Maxwell, you've got to cut him some slack a little bit. It's his first test, and we'll see how that goes after a while. But you know, Doherty could have bowled a little bit better for me. I thought he was too full early. I think his first 3 balls were, I think Sunil was at full tosses and went through mid-wicket. You know, you just got to create a presence and hit the deck straight away. You can't afford to do that type of stuff. And as you know, Sonny, you lose confidence straight away, don't you, when your bowler bowls full tosses first up.
Right, Mr. Gavaskar, India, of course, very much on top of things right now after day 2 of the Hyderabad test. But one has to talk about a certain Virender Sehwag. He fell for 6. How badly is he struggling?
Well, when you get out early, you really don't have the opportunity to see whether he's struggling or not. He got a very good delivery, you've got to admit that, because that was a length ball around the off stump, climbing as it went. A delivery which should have got any batsman out. The fact of the matter is that Virender Sehwag has been short of runs since the Ahmedabad test match. But that doesn't mean anything, because, you know, if you're going to give a rope to the others who have proven themselves, I think you've got to give a long rope to Virender Sehwag as well. I mean, the man has got 8,500 runs in test cricket. So I think, you know, you've got to, as the captain said, Mahendra Singh Dhoni said, you've got to be patient with him, because, you know, he's the kind of batsman who can take the game away. I mean, if he had got going today, who knows, we would have probably been about 360 or something like that at the end of the day's play.
Right, Deano, as things stand right now, going into day 3, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I just see another big runs will be total on again tomorrow, and I'm expecting the Indians will bat right through day 3, right up till lunch probably on day 4, and then it's up to the Australians whether they can hold an end up. You know, if I was Michael Clarke, I'll be just trying to bat by example and show the guys, well, this is the hard way, the tough way. Alan Border did the same thing in 1986, where he showed some young punks like myself and David Boone and Jeff Marsh and co, Steve Waugh, that this is the way you've got to play. We're still inexperienced, many of our younger guys to come through, but here's this. I'm really happy that the Australians are going through some pain now in this particular series and coming into the Ashes. They're starting to learn the way they've gone in. They're badly prepared for this match or this series. They've only played, what, a 2-day game or 3-day game or something, and you can't afford to do that against Indians here. You've got to play at least a couple of weeks, at least 3 first-class matches before the first test. So you get what you sow. So the Australians, they're gone now. The series is gone, as far as I'm concerned. But it's up to players now to stand up and see if they want to play in the Ashes series.
But of course, very surprisingly, this one is turning out to be no contest, and very quickly at that. We're just into day 2 of the second test. We've almost run out of time, but Mr. Gavaskar, just wanted to squeeze in one last question for you. Mahendra Singh Dhoni has said that this particular batting and bowling lineup is a settled one, and he's happy with the way things are going, which is possibly why he did not make any changes for the second test. But the next test series after this that India plays is going to be at the end of the year, and that's going to be in South Africa against the Proteas. Do you think this particular lineup looks good to go abroad and win as well?
Well, this is I think too far away. I think 7-8 months down the road. I think we should just focus on the current series, win it by as big a margin as possible. Australia defeated India 4-0. If India can do that 4-0, nothing like it, because then they'll have the confidence to take on anybody, and then by that time I think the churn up will be such that you will get your lineup for the South Africa series as well. But yes, I think this batting lineup looks pretty good. I think the bowling, maybe Umesh Yadav coming back will make a difference. Maybe you'll also have to think in terms of Zahir, because his experience could well be handy in South Africa.
Well, of course, a 4-0 series scoreline is something that every Indian fan wants to see. It's going to be sweet revenge, really, for what happened in Australia last time Indians were there. Mr. Gavaskar, Dean Jones, thank you both gentlemen for joining us this evening. We'll, of course, come back to you after day 3's play.